Hi, in this video we'll be continuing with the C# video tutorials. In this video we'll be going over random numbers. So random numbers are sometimes used in different applications. Excuse me. So the .NET framework provides the random class, which is the same as Java pretty much, that you can use in C# to generate random numbers. Sorry, my throat's just dry, so have some water here. Okay, so we already talked about this in the notes. So we'll be doing some code examples in this video. So that'll be let's see if we have some little examples here. Okay, so it's exactly like Java. So it's just, all you have to do is just say random rand's your object reference, so that's your object reference variable. You can name it whatever you want, which is pretty much just being instantiated into an object here. So rand points to new random. It's exactly Java with capitals, I believe. No, it's exactly the same because classes in Java have capitals, I believe. So I think that's exactly the same. So it makes it easy. So this is, I know we haven't talked about objects yet. We may have just talked about them a little bit. Nothing crazy yet, so we'll try to get into those soon, after we do arrays, I think. So this is an object instantiation. So we're taking our object reference variable here, pointing it to, we're calling the new keyword. So we haven't talked about that yet. We talked about it maybe earlier. No, I don't think. Maybe we might have used it. We didn't talk about it. I just may have used it here or there a couple times. So we'll probably be, I think we did talk about it. Actually, let me just check the notes if we talked about it recently. Sorry about that. So let me just have a look here. So let me just open these other notes that we already did a video on. Apologize about that. Okay, I have them in front of me now. Okay, so we did them. To create an object, use rand points a new random. Doesn't necessarily talk about the new keyword too much. Okay, so we have let's just see what we have here. So we have the new keyword. Okay, so rand points to new rand. So this could have been anything. You could have called this random with lowercase. Could have called it rand. Rand usually works pretty easy. It's just easy to remember. But that's fine. Rand. Just like when we do when we go like scan points a new scanner. That's in Java, but you just call it scan just because it's easy to remember. Some people call it keyboard. It's up to you. I just went with the scan, so rand works good, or random, whatever. Random's fine. Whatever you want to call it, it's up to you. You can name that whatever you want. Okay, so this, let's talk about this, kind of what's happening here. Rand points to new random. Well, we already kind of talked about it earlier on. So this part here, random rand, this declares a variable named rand that can reference a random object. So it's an object reference variable. Pretty much same thing. So the new random part, the second part of this on the right side of the equal sign, this creates a random object in memory. So maybe I should just say that here. So I'll just say new random creates a random object in memory. Okay, so let's move on here to the next method, which is actually called the next method. So it's called the next method, which has a capital instead of Java has a lowercase. So it's the next method with a capital. As you know, the convention of C# is to have the methods pretty much with capitals rather than Java has them with C#, with lowercase. So once you have created a random object, you can call its next method to get a random integer number. So an example here is you can declare an int such as int val. Then we can create our random object, so we can say random rand points to new random. Or random points to new random, whatever you want. Then we'll say val points to rand dot next. I think Java actually says next int. Might use next actually. I think there is a next and maybe another method too. Next int in Java. So val points to rand.next. So after this code executes, the number variable contains a random, the val variable contains a random integer if you call the next method with no arguments. Which is what we just did. The return integer is somewhere between 0 and some massive number like 2 billion. 147,483,647 exactly between. So the return integer is somewhere between 0 and 2,147,483,647, which is just some. You just have to, I guess, you have to know the number of digits 1, 2, 3. So it's 10 digits. So alternatively, you can pass an argument, excuse me, or basically you can pass a parameter that specifies an upper limit to the generated numbers range. So basically instead of this, you could say, okay, well then you could say val points to rand.next, passing in the parameter 100. So if you pass in 100, then the value is between 0 and 99. So it's usually 1 minus the number, which starts at 0. Excuse me. So we're going to have to go over a few things here to get a specific range of numbers that you're looking for. So the next kind of kind of a different method called with the next method, or how you basically get a certain range. So the random integer's range does not have to begin at 0. You can add or subtract a value to shift the numeric range upward or downward. So in the next example, we'll call the next method to get a random number in the range of 0 through 9. Then we'll add 1 to it, so the number assigned to the val is somewhere in the range of 1 through 10 in that case. That makes sense because, okay, so let me just talk about this. Okay, so if we go val points to ran.next, passing in 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1, passing in 10. Then remember to do it on the outside. So you go 10 in the parameter, then on the outside of the closing parentheses you add plus 1. So that means we want, or this will return a value between 0 and 9 plus 1. So it'd be 0 and 9 plus 1, I think so then it would be 1 between 1 and 10. So if you go plus 1, so val points to ran.next, passing in 10 plus 1, then the value is between 1 and 10. So you add 1 to, you add 1 to start val and finish val, or start val and end val then. Think of it like you're adding 1 to 0, which will be 1, and then 1 to the last val, which would be 9, so you add 1 is 10. So you just have to remember that. So the next example assigns a random integer to a number between -50 and +49. Okay, so that would be, these are test questions basically. You'll get asked these on an exam for sure. They always ask you all variations too, because they want to see if you know how to change the range and all that. So this is, let's just say val points to ran.next, passing in 100 minus 50. So then in this case the value is between, well, what do you guys think the value would be, the range would be at least? So we go minus 50 from the start, which would start at 0, so that would be minus 50, I think, and we minus 50 from the end. I was gonna say 50, but the answer is 49. Why? Okay, let me just find out why here. The value is between, okay, so we subtract. Oh, I know why. Okay, so the reason why is because it's, so let's look at this, let's just kind of solve this down here. So let's look at this question or expression without the minus 50 on the end. So it would be, let's just say it's val points to rand.next, passing in 100. So this would be between 0 and 99. So now if we take that 0 and 99, so what's 0 minus 50 should be negative 50. Then we go 99 minus 50, that's 49. That's all you have to do. So that's the trick there. So just break it up into two parts. Okay, so there's one more method here. It's just like Java, so Java has the next method and then they have the next double or next int. This is the same thing in C#, it looks like. So we have here, in that case, so the next part of this is the next double method. I assume they have like the next int and all that too. Actually no, maybe not, because these are ints already. Okay, so perhaps there's just one next double method. You can always check the random class on the Microsoft Docs to see what other methods that they have, because I'm sure there's more than what's discussed here. These are just the common ones. So this is the next double method. Excuse me, so this gives you values between, so like for example 0.0 and 1.0. So you can call it random objects next double method to get a random floating point number between. So maybe let's just jot that down here. So next double method, get a random floating point number between 0.0 and 1.0, excluding 1.0, so I would assume it'd be like 0.9 or something. So it's the same thing, like it's the same thing as here basically. So here if we go rand.next 10, that'll give us 0 to 9. So that's the same thing pretty much. It doesn't go from 0.0 to 1.0. It goes like slightly left of that. If you're thinking it on as the number is going bigger from left to right, then it would be slightly left of 1.0, so it'd be like 0.9 or something. Okay, so let's just do an example of that. So you can have a double, actually, so let's just call an example here. So example, let's say we have a double val, and we'll say random rand points a new random. Then we'll say val points to rand dot next double. So after this code executes, the val variable will contain a random floating point number in the range of 0.0, but not including 1.0. So that would be like 0.0 to, I think it's 0.9, but you can double check. Might be 0, I think it is 0.9. Actually, you know, it might be some random, could be something else. It's like 0.91 or like 999 or something. You can always double check and just make a little coin or a little dice thing and just check what number it returns. So you can basically you can just test this method and see if it returns anything. What it's kind of returning, what kind of values it's returning. So we'll probably do an example here with the coin toss thing. So that'll be in the lab. In the next video, we'll do a coin toss. We'll simulate a coin flipping. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys liked the video, you can like and subscribe to the channel to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.